All right, everybody, we're about to get started. I'm going to call the March meeting of the Washington County Quorum Court to order. It's good to see everybody tonight. Glad to be here with our fellow JPs. With that, we'll move right into our meeting. Justice Wilson has agreed to do us the prayer and the pledge. Justice Wilson?
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your involvement in our lives and your involvement in government, for establishing the institution of government, which, Lord, we understand that it's certainly not perfect because it's made up of imperfect people who do not always agree, but ultimately, Lord, we know it's established by you, and I pray we would remember that. Pray, Lord, we remember the words of Benjamin Franklin when he spoke to Continental Congress, saying that he's lived a long time, and the longer he lived, the more convincing proofs he saw of the truth that God governs in the affairs of men. And Lord, I pray that we'd remember that there are so many generations who came before us. They were wise in their words, their theology was accurate, and they trusted you to guide their proceedings, and I pray you would guide us as well tonight. We thank you, Lord, for us having the opportunity to have a firm reliance upon you. And I pray, Lord, that would be evident. I pray we would consult what your word says and what our own conscience tells us, and that you might be pleased with how we might conduct our meeting, not just tonight, but throughout the course of the next several months and years. We thank you, Lord, that you have established an avenue from us to you through Christ our Lord, in whose name we pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Justice Wilson. With that, we're going to move to the adoption of the agenda. Are there any additional items for the agenda? Justice Simons?
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to add item 24-0-024. This is the second half of what was discussed in committee. We have an ordinance tonight on the agenda regarding the IT budget request for 2 additional positions being removed. This ordinance is to create the position that they requested of the network administrator.
I have a motion to add item number 24-0-024 to the agenda by Justice Simons. Do I have a second? I have a second by Justice Dennis. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Without objection, I'd like to move that to 13A. Is that okay? So we can take those up together. Are there any additional motions for the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion to adopt the agenda as amended by Justice Lyons, a second by Justice Dean. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? The agenda has been adopted. Any preliminary motions this evening?
Yes.
Justice Dean?
Thank you, Judge. I make a motion that all ordinances and resolutions be read by title only.
Okay. I have a motion by Justice Dean to read ordinances and resolutions by title only, a second by Justice Rio Stafford. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? The ordinances and resolutions will be read by title only. Quick note here, as we move into the meeting, our voting software has failed us. So we will not have the voting screens tonight. We'll have to have audible votes, and we're going to take notes about the votes. So just keep that in mind when we're calling for the votes. With that, we're going to move to citizen comments. We have a 15-minute period for citizen comments, limit to 3 minutes per individual. Are there any citizens' comments this evening? All right. Come on.
Diana Scott, Fayetteville, Arkansas. I'm usually the first one up here, so I paused to see if anyone else wanted to come up. Good evening, Judge Deakins. It's been 6 months now that I have come before this quorum court talking about the Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee. I came forward in October, came forward in November, gave you a little Christmas present. I didn't come up in December. In January, I put the lights out. In February, I spoke to it again, and here I am 6 months. No, it's not on the agenda. It can't get on the agenda because it is suspended. The irony is that I didn't even know what the Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee was until it was suspended. And then I started reading about it. And I remember last month, I believe it was, you mentioned not wanting to focus so much on those who had committed the crimes or were accused of those crimes so much as the victims. And I get it. But I really do feel it is a measure of a society, how we treat those who are accused. Maybe if we have a little more humanity in that system, they won't be guests of Washington County so often. Recidivism would recede. The other item I wanted to ask about tonight came to my attention just a couple of days ago. Washington County has allowed $490,000 that was supposed to be used for emergency rental assistance granted by the federal government, slipped through its fingers. It went unused. It has to go back. That's done. We can't change that. But in listening or in looking over the agenda for tonight, I see budget, 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 budget. I think the people in this governing body want to be good stewards with the money that they've been given to handle. Please, let's not let something like this happen again. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comments? Seeing no more, we're going to move on. The minutes were emailed out with the agenda packet. I know Justice Rios Stafford had a correction that she wanted recognized. Justice Rios Stafford?
Thank you, Judge. On line 27, under citizen comments, my correction was the last speaker was Mac Mayfield, M-A-C, as in Big Mac, rather than Matt Mayfield. And that's my only correction.
Thank you. Any other corrections to the minutes? If not, we'll have those as accepted. All right, we'll move on. County Judge's Report. I want to just cover some quick things for us this evening. First of all, I want to thank the 4-H vet students being here tonight. What a great opportunity to get to talk to you, well-spoken individuals. Can't wait to see what you guys have ahead in your future. It's going to be really great. Just come back here and serve Washington County is my selfish ask of each of you. The disposal report's in your packet, as promised last month. It's pretty lengthy this time. We've been doing some spring cleaning around the county and trying to get some things cleaned up. I want to update you guys. Comptroller Sherman has been with us now probably about a month, and he's really gotten in and jumped in with both feet. He sent some emails out to our workforce. You might have gotten some of those too about some of our travel and reimbursement policies. He's seen some things in there that he definitely does not see misuse of these funds, but a little bit more cleanup that we need to be having done. We've had a very recent experience here with some travel that we've had to go back and get reimbursed, to get the county reimbursed for some improper charges, and we just want to make sure those are working appropriately. So we invite you guys to be familiar with those policies, especially if you're traveling. And if you're not familiar with those, please reach out to my office or Comptroller Sherman's office, and he can definitely help cover those for you guys and help out. I want to highlight some things that our Veteran Service Office has going on. Tomorrow is another one of our Coffee with the Veterans events at 0900 down there at the Veteran Service Office off of North Street. State Representative Steve Unger will be there tomorrow morning. What we want those to be, those are open to anybody in the public. It's kind of an informal way that we want our veterans especially, but anybody in the public to get to know their elected representatives, ask questions, once again, in a more casual setting. So we look forward to that. We've also started what I guess I'll refer to as like the VSO Road Show. We went to the city of Elkins. We want to do outreach to these smaller communities and our veteran communities, our veterans, to know what services are available through our Veteran Service Office, what services are available at the VA. And so be on the lookout for that. We think that we're going to shore up a date in West Fork. And so we'll try to get that out so that the members of the community down there know that that's happening and then can come and visit with our Veteran Service Office. Many of you will recognize the name Lester C. Howick. I think that's how, I hope I'm doing that pronunciation justice, but he was very instrumental in the establishment of our animal shelter. His wife has recently passed away, and he had preceded her in death, and one of their last wishes was that they continue to financially support our animal shelter, and so we received a donation of $228,000 for the animal shelter from their estate. I just want to show my appreciation to those individuals and how they continue to support the county over a long time. They had no surviving relatives, and so I reached out to the attorney who sent us the letter, and I wanted to thank them or show them some sort of appreciation, and she said, without surviving family, the best thing we can do is just support the mission and use the funds responsibly, and so we really do appreciate that a lot. I had the honor of being a part of issuing a couple proclamations this month since we last met. First off is we had our Farm Bureau Week, which was February 5th through 9th. You know, it's easy for us to sometimes miss how much agriculture is so important to not only our nation, but this county. We have a huge agricultural force here in our county, and we certainly appreciate all the hard work those individuals do by contributing to our economies and our workforce, but also just feeding us, which is, of course, very, very critical. The other thing is, today we proclaimed was the Single Parents Appreciation Day. And so working with the Single Parent Scholarship Fund, we wanted to declare that. And what it is, we just want to tip our hats to those single parents out there who have difficult circumstances that they're working through, and just their commitment to their parenthood and the future of our county is so important. So let's all remember that and appreciate today for being the Single Parents Day of Appreciation. With that, that's it, and we'll continue to move on through the meeting, and I think now we're at the point where we will be unfinished business, is that correct? Item number 8 is our first unfinished business. Counselor, will you read that by title only?
All right. An ordinance ratifying a conditional use permit recommended for approval by the planning board. This is for the CDS Motorsports project.
This is on its second reading. It will remain on its second reading unless we have a motion. Justice Pond?
As far as I know, we might leave it on the second reading unless Director Ada or someone has any comment to make at this time.
Director Ada?
I might ask Director Ada a
Good
question
evening,
or two.
everyone. So far, we haven't received anything. I informed the applicant about the project, and like the hearing today, I did not hear anything from him. I haven't heard anything from the state fire marshal or the local fire department if there is any improvement or like if there is any intention of him updating any of the sprinkler system that was requested of him. So nothing has changed since last time, period.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Singh.
Absolutely.
Let's just leave it on. We have someone else. Robert had a question for you, Sam.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Justice Dennis?
Thank you, Judge. Just curious whether or not there's any neighbor comments yet, any additional?
No, we haven't
Any
received.
complaints?
We haven't received anything or any complaints. And last time I've been to the area to the project site. I visited with another person who was my witness. So they were moving along with maybe pouring concrete for that proposed house. I haven't been there since it was rainy. I'm busy, of course. But it's we haven't received anything from the neighbors yet. So
are you pleased?
It's the safety is the biggest concern about this project. That's it. It's not like it's not the production of the house or like building the structure. It's like the safety measures like after that happens. That's the whole point.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Judge.
No problem. So with that, we're going to move on to item number 9. Council, will you read item number 9 by title only?
An ordinance recognizing and appropriating additional revenue in the amount of $9,329.45 in the jail fund for 2024.
Justice Lyons?
Thank you, Judge. The question, Counselor, does this fall in the category if we get 2/3 vote, it passes tonight, or do we still have to go through 3 readings?
No, an appropriation ordinance can pass on the first reading, so long as we get 10 votes in favor.
And that's what this, okay,
Yes.
thank you. I'd like to make a motion that we pass this ordinance.
I have a motion to pass item number 9 by Justice Lyons, a second by Justice Lemming. Any further discussion or questions on the item? Any public comments on item number 9? Seeing none, I have a motion to pass item number 9 by Justice Lyons, a second by Justice Lemming. Mr. Allen, will you please call a roll?
Justice Simons. Justice Lyons. Justice Ecke. Justice Dean. Justice Washington. Justice Koger. Justice Dennis. Justice Rios Stafford. Justice Lemming. Justice Pond. Justice Taylor. Justice Wilson.
That motion carries. Item number 10. Council, will you read that ordinance by title only?
An ordinance amending the comptroller budget for 2024.
Justice Lyons?
Thank you, Judge. I make a motion, we pass this ordinance.
I have a motion to pass item number 10 by Justice Lyons, a second by Justice Dean. Any further discussion on item number 10 by the court? Any public comments on item number 10? Seeing none, we'll take up the question. I have a motion to pass item number 10 by Justice Lyons, second by Justice Dean. Mr. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Justice Simons. Justice Lyons. Justice Ecke. Justice Dean. Justice Washington. Justice Koger. Justice Dennis. Justice Rios Stafford. Justice Lemming. Justice Pond. Justice Taylor. Justice Wilson.
Justice Koger?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Judge. I'm afraid that the people at home can't hear how we're voting because we don't have our microphones on and we don't have the board tonight. Could we please just each push our button and be recognized so they can hear how we're voting?
Yeah, that's gonna get pretty technical,
How's
I
that?
think, because I'm having to manually control these microphones.
Well, I think it's very important that everybody at home hears how we're
Well, they
voting.
will have them in the minutes.
Yeah, I know that, but I make a motion that we each vote with our microphone on tonight so that people at home can hear how we're voting.
Okay? I mean, they're not required to be a motion. I think it's gonna get kinda onerous for the time, but it's a pleasure of the court. Yep, I know that's true. Justice Pond?
How many of these microphones can we actually have on at one time? There's technical difficulties.
I've never tried that, so we're gonna be in uncharted waters. We'll just see how it works.
It'll be like the 4th of July then.
That's
Okay,
right.
Thank you.
That's right. With that, where are we at? We have you need to read that?
It passed unanimously, the last one.
Okay. So item number 11, no, 10,
Yeah, item 10 passed.
pass unanimously, okay? Justice Dennis, do you have something?
Yes, I do, Judge. Thank you. I was going to amend the motion and say that we raise our hand if we're for it and just leave our hand down. Because many times, even when you're home, you can't hear, but if they know that your hand up means yes, then they can recognize it a lot easier
Okay.
rather than, so I'd make an amendment that we do that instead of turning the mic on and off and on and off.
I would prefer that just from our technical side and team.
That's what they could still see, because I've watched it before from home, and I can't hear it many times, but I can see.
Sure.
And so I think they could see better than when they can hear.
Okay, great. With that, we'll move on to item number 11. Council, will you read that by title only?
Item 11 is an ordinance amending the JDC budget for 2024.
Do we have any motions on this item? Motions or discussion? Justice Lyons?
Thank you, Judge. I'll make a motion that we pass this ordinance.
I have a motion to pass item number 11 by Justice Lyons, second by Justice Dean. Any further discussion by the court? Public comments on item number 11. Seeing none, we're going to take up the question. I have a motion to pass item number 11 by Justice Lyons, a second by Justice Dean. All those in favor, raise your hands. I think that was those voting against. I believe that was. Counselor Lester has advised us that we still need to call the roll. So we're still developing this. Maybe he said maybe he can mic up and repeat your vote as he records them. Would that work? Okay. So, Mr. Allen, will you please call the roll? This is on the passage of item number 11.
Justice Simons.
Yes, sir.
Yay.
Yes.
Justice Lyons. Yes, sir. Yay. Justice Ecke. Yay. Justice Dean. Yes, sir. Yay. Justice Washington. Yay. Justice Koger. Yay. Justice Dennis. Yay. Justice Rio Stafford. Yay. Justice Lemming. Yay. Justice Pond. Yay. Justice Taylor. Yay. Justice Wilson. Yay.
Item number 11 carries. Item number 12, Counsel, will you read that by title only?
Item 12 is an ordinance amending the jail budget for 2024.
Justice Lyons?
Thank you, Judge. I make a motion we pass this ordinance.
I have a motion to pass item number 12 by Justice Lyons and a second by Justice Dean. Any further discussion or questions by the court? Justice Lemming?
Do we have any idea what we're paying, what we're spending, or just gonna let him have it?
I believe in the committee meeting, they removed the financial aspect of it because they have enough in that line item to pay that individual now.
Okay, thank you.
So this won't impact the budget, is my understanding. Any further questions or discussion? Public comments on item number 12. Seeing none, we'll take up the question. I have a motion to pass item number 12 by Justice Lyons, a second by Justice Dean. Mr. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Justice Simons. Yes, sir. Yay. Justice Lyons. Yes, sir. Yay. Justice Ecke. Yay. Justice Dean. Yay. Yay. Justice Washington. Yes. Yay. Justice Koger. Yes. Yay. Justice Dennis. Yes. Yay. Justice Rio Stafford. Yay. Yay. Justice Lemming. Yes. Yay. Justice Pond. Yay. Yay. Justice Taylor. Yes. Yay. Justice Wilson. Yes. Yay.
Item number 12 carries. Item number 13. Counsel, will you read that by title only? Let's just do the. Yep.
Item 13 is an ordinance amending the IT budget for 2024.
Motions or discussion? I have a motion to pass by Justice Dennis and a second by Justice Lyons. Any further discussion or questions by the court? Any public comments on item number, oh, sorry, I didn't see you, Justice Dennis. Justice Dennis?
Oh, I'd just like to speak to something in general. This week, I got a statement from Highland Oncology about how they were hacked and how that they stole not only our medical information, but our social security number, our telephone number, our whole works. And then I also got one from Home Depot, Loan Depot. They used to have the mortgage on my house, and they have been hacked. So this is a real problem for a lot of very large businesses and organizations, and so we need to do our fair share and do everything we can help our IT to protect Washington County. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Dennis. Any other discussion? Any public comments on item number 13? Seeing none, we'll take up the question. I have a motion to pass item number 13 by Justice Dennis, second by Justice Lyons. Mr. Allen, will you please call a roll?
Justice Simons. Yay. Justice Lyons. Yay. Justice Ecke. Yay. Justice Dean. Yay. Justice Washington. Yay. Justice Koger. Yay. Justice Dennis. Yay. Justice Rios Stafford. Yay. Justice Lemming. Yay. Justice Pond. Yay. Justice Taylor. Yay. Justice Wilson.
That item passes. Now for our, we had the item that was added to the agenda, which is item number 24-0-024. Counsel, will you read that by title only?
An ordinance amending the IT budget for 2024.
Justice Simons?
Make a motion, we pass this.
I have a motion to pass by Justice Simons, second by Justice Lyons. Any further discussion on the item by the court? Any public comments on item 13A? Seeing none, we'll take up the question. I have a motion to pass by Justice Simons, second by Justice Lyons. Mr. Allen, please call the roll.
Justice Simons. Yay. Justice Lyons. Yay. Justice Ecke. Yay. Justice Dean. Yay. Justice Washington. Yay. Justice Koger. Yay. Justice Dennis. Yay. Justice Rios Stafford. Yay. Justice Lemming. Yay. Justice Pond. Yay. Justice Taylor. Yay. Justice Wilson. Yay.
That item carries. Item number 14, Counsel, will you read that by title only?
An ordinance amending the purchasing budget for 2024.
Justice Washington?
Thank you, Judge Deakins. So we had an in-depth discussion about this last week, so there's no need to belabor those points. I would just like to note that tonight everything is passed unanimously, and I would appreciate a yes vote, a yay, a hand raise, whatever it is, on this ordinance. I know that we've talked at length about the budget and making amendments and all of that, but I would just encourage my colleagues to not be so rigid, to not make changes to the budget that we failed to do right by our county employees. So I move that we pass this ordinance.
I have a motion to pass by Justice Washington and a second by Justice Koger. Any further discussion by the court? Any public comments on item number 14? Seeing none, we're going to take up the question. I have a motion to pass item number 14 by Justice Washington, second by Justice Koger. Mr. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Justice Simons. Yay. Justice Lyons.
No, sir.
No. Justice Ecke. Yay. Justice Dean.
Yes, sir.
Yay. Justice Washington. Yay. Justice Koger. Yay. Justice Dennis. Yay. Justice Rios Stafford. Yay. Justice Lemming. No. Justice Pond. Yay. Justice Taylor. No. Justice Wilson. Yay.
Item number 14 will move to the second reading next month. Item number 15. Counselor, will you read that by title only?
Item 15 is an ordinance amending the road department budget for 2024.
Justice Washington?
Well, once again, we discussed this at length during our budget and finance meeting, and I believe that we can try again to get a unanimous good vote for this ordinance. It has, everything has been explained. We've had the opportunity to ask questions. We received the justification, so I move that we pass this ordinance.
I have a motion to pass item number 15 by Justice Washington. I heard second by Justice Pond. Any further discussion by the court? Justice Wilson?
Yes, I just want to make sure that I understand when I'm reading through the details of this, and I want to be corrected if I'm wrong. It looks like we're removing 3 positions and creating 2 to do the work, perhaps an upgrade, perhaps change of duties slightly. My question is this really, is this saving money in the end when that transition is made, or do we know for sure?
Yes, sir. So the position that's vacant right now that we're changing and updating the job descriptions, that will be a lower graded position. It will return money back to what is the unappropriated reserves of the road department. It'll be a savings of $16,844 in difference in these graded positions. So the individual that's in the position that we are changing but is currently in the position, her compensation will not change, just the job duties.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Justice Lemming?
Yes, add a little more to what he said. Is the new position that you're going to be hiring, is it going to be coming in at $22 an hour? Can you answer that?
I'm not sure what that position was graded at. I'm sorry. I don't remember.
I think it was advertised online, so somewhere around, the job that you're taking away was 29, and the one you're putting in there is 22. Is that correct? So that's your savings difference from
Yes, sir.
there to
I didn't
there.
know what it was per hour, but that's what, basically that one position will save the county $16,000 by changing that compensation.
Okay, thank you.
Justice Ecke?
Thank you, Judge. Point of clarification, once again, because you said this is going to come out of the Roads Department unappropriated reserves, personnel comes out of general fund of unappropriated reserves. Which one, those are 2 separate, which one is it going to come out of?
No, it all comes out of the unappropriated reserves of the road department.
Okay, that's,
And their personnel comes out of that fund also.
okay, that's what I wanted to make clear.
So we're gonna put it back in that fund.
In
it'll be
that
there.
fund,
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
It's, this is not general unappropriated reserves for the county, and I wanted just to make that clear to
Correction.
everybody, not to
I mean,
worry
yeah.
about that.
Absolutely correct.
So thank you. All right, thank you.
Any further discussion by the court? Any public comments on item number 15? Seeing none, we'll take up the question. I have a motion to pass item number 15 by Justice Washington, a second by Justice Pond. Mr. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Justice Simons? Yes, sir. Yay. Justice Lyons? No, sir. No. Justice Ecke? Yay. Justice Dean?
Yes, sir.
Yay. Justice Washington? Yes. Yay. Justice Koger?
Yes.
Yay. Justice Dennis?
Yes.
Yay. Justice Rio Stafford? Yay. Justice Lemming? No. Justice Pond? Yay. Justice Taylor? Yay. Justice Wilson? Yay.
Item number 15 passes. Item number 16, Counselor, will you read that by title only?
An ordinance ratifying a conditional use permit recommended for approval by the planning board for the Oak Place Properties project.
Absent further motions, this will remain on the first reading. Move on. Item number 7. Justice Real Stafford?
Sorry, I was going to move to suspend the rules and move to the second reading.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and move to a second reading by Justice Rio Stafford. Do we have a second? I have a second by Justice Taylor. Mr. Allen, will you please call a roll?
Justice Simons. Yay. Justice Lyons. Yay. Justice Ecke. Yay. Justice Dean.
Yes, sir.
Yay. Justice Washington. Yay. Justice Koger. No. Justice Dennis. Yay. Justice Rios Stafford. Yay. Justice Lemming. Yay. Justice Pond. Yay. Justice Taylor. Yay. Justice Wilson. Yay.
Council, will you read that for a second time?
An ordinance ratifying a conditional use permit recommended for approval by the planning board for the Oak Place Properties Project.
Justice Rios Stafford?
Move to suspend the rules and go to the third reading?
I have a motion to suspend the rules and move to a third and final reading by Justice Rios Stafford, second by Justice Taylor. Mr. Allen, will you please call a roll?
Justice Simons. Yay. Justice Lyons. Yay. Justice Ecke. Yay. Justice Dean. Yay. Justice Washington. Yay. Justice Koger. No. Justice Dennis. Yay. Justice Rios Stafford. Yay. Justice Lemming. Yay. Justice Pond. Yay. Justice Taylor. Yay. Justice Wilson. Yay.
Council, will you read item number 16 for a third and final time?
An ordinance ratifying a conditional use permit recommended for approval by the planning board for the Oak Place Properties Project.
Justice Rios Stafford?
Thank you, Judge. I had a chance to speak to the applicant by phone today. I think he had tried to reach out to us. Because of a mistake, I think, with his calendar, he got his dates wrong and did not realize that this was going to be on the agenda for tonight. I think he thought the meeting was next week, and he's traveling for work right now in Florida. And I was wondering if the planning director could come up and just give a brief summary of this and what happened at Planning Commission.
Director Ada?
Hello again. So this project was submitted before the planning board like in September, and it was like, it took that long because he had like to fulfill some of the requirements by the local fire department, and he did. So this project was approved unanimously on February 22nd by the planning board. It's in Fayetteville planning area. The applicant is requesting to use a commercial building, existing commercial building for multi-use warehouse on his 4.62 acres property. The change is for the use, not the building. So he's not like building anything or adding anything. He's just like changing the use to a gymnasium. There are going to be like three existing warehouses on that property with like one office building. Two of the warehouses will be for personal use, while like one of them will be the gym, which is this project, and a weight room for personal training. Hours of operation will be Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. And Saturday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The gym will be operated by like 3 employees, and each trainer session will accumulate like between 2 to 7 customers, and that's a stretch. He said like normally we never have like more than 4 or 5. The parcel is like, as I mentioned, in planning area. The property is 4.62 acres. Only 0.8 is going to be used for that project, and it's located on the southern side of West Wheeler Road, approximately 0.1 mile from like North Adams Road in Fayetteville.
Thank you, Director Ada. Justice Rios Stafford, do you have a motion? Are you prepared to make a motion to pass before we move on? Sorry, just a second. Okay.
I move to pass this item.
I have a motion to pass item number 16 by Justice Rios Stafford, second by Justice Taylor. Justice Koger?
Thank you, Judge. The reason I voted against moving it forward is because I like to give the neighbors, the community, a chance to be heard, and I'm not sure that they have that. I couldn't attend the Planning Commission meeting in person because I had other obligations that night, but I tried to listen to it online, and it was down in the and because of the
115.
voting. And there was, the applicant did have the microphone, but it was very hard to hear. And so I've reached out to the applicant, and he hasn't gotten back to me. So I would just like to be able to put this off into, not vote on it. I'm not going to vote to approve it tonight because of those reasons. Thank you.
Yeah, the only concern that like the neighbors like had is they don't want it to have any loud music or like signs because they had, that subdivision was like built back in 1973 and it has like 25 years like covenants on it and it's already expired and they're not sure if they're gonna extend it. So that was the agreement and one of the condition, you're not gonna have loud music or like any signs, and he agreed. And like I mentioned it today to him over the phone, he said like, I don't want any of this. So that was the only concern by the neighbors and they agreed to it.
Okay, could you speak some more? Okay, so this is part of the subdivision, correct?
Yeah, and it's an old subdivision, and the whole area was already grandfather. And the only reason he's applying for a conditional use permit because that used to be an office space, and he converted it to a gym. So the use has changed, and like based on our current ordinances, since the use has changed, he needs to apply for a new conditional use permit.
Okay, so.
But he's not adding or anything. He's using like repurposing the existing warehouse that's been built like back in the 70s.
Okay, let me think. So if the subdivision, a majority, I guess, the restrictions have expired.
Yeah, have expired, and they're like the neighbors, they're trying like to regroup and like maybe like revive it if they can, but I don't know how legally that's gonna happen. So that's why they said like in case if this is being revived and like do you have the same restrictions again, let's make sure like to be in compliance with their like covenants. So no signs, no music. So he said yes.
Okay, then I guess I have a question for the county attorney. So if the neighbors in this subdivision vote to for restrictive covenants, however they go about that, then this applicant will have to abide by those because he's inside that, correct?
Yeah, and that's the case. So
I would assume so. I honestly couldn't tell you without looking at the property records to see, but I mean, if this piece of property is subject to the covenants, then he would be subject to the covenants if they were able to pass those.
Even though the business would already be there before the restrictive covenants were back up?
I think he would have a good argument to state that, because they expired, that he would kind of be grandfathered in to continue to allow the business. I don't think you're gonna find a court that's gonna say, well, after the fact, we agreed to engage in covenants once again, and you're gonna have to undo everything you've done. The courts don't like to do that. So they take a pretty hard line approach of if something's going on, you can't make somebody retroactively go back and abide by some rules that weren't in place at the time.
Thank you, that was my question.
yep. And the neighbors were not like objecting to the project or the person himself. They were like just want to make sure like there is no annoyance, and that's what he agreed to.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
So is that already written in as a condition?
Yes.
The noise part of it is?
Yes.
Well, I'll be voting to approve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Justice Lyons?
Thank you, Judge. So when you sent out the cards to neighbors, was that the only comment was at the meeting? Was there any other comments that came
It's
in?
only
in
like
writing?
one person who like called us, and he's actually the one who came to the meeting, like representing the community, and that's his concern. If we reinstate that like covenants, can we make sure like he doesn't like use noise or like use loud music or like have like a sign? And we said yes, and like that's one of the conditions.
So his concern was still the music, so that's
Yeah.
taken care of.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on item number 16? Thank you, Director Ada. Any public comments on item number 16? Seeing none, we'll take up the question. I have a motion to pass item number 16 by Justice Rios Stafford, second by Justice Taylor. Mr. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Justice Simons? Yay. Justice Lyons? Yes, sir. Yay. Justice Ecke? Yes. Yay. Justice Dean? Yes, sir. Yay. Justice Washington? Yes. Yay. Justice Koger? No. No. Justice Dennis? Yes. Yay. Justice Rios Stafford? Yay. Yay. Justice Lemming? Yes. Yay. Justice Pond? Yay. Yay. Justice Taylor? Yes. Yay. Justice Wilson? Yes. Yay.
That item carries. Item number 17, council, will you read that by title only?
An ordinance ratifying a conditional use permit recommended for approval by the planning board for the Layman Fishing Bait Warehouse Project.
Justice Lemming?
Thank you, Judge. This gentleman's wanting to move his business out of Missouri and bring it to northwest Arkansas, and right there on the highway in summers will be great. And I haven't heard any complaints of any kind about it, so I move that we pass it.
I have a motion, it's on its first reading.
Let's make a motion to put it on its second reading.
Motion to suspend the rules and move it to a second reading by Justice
Correct.
Lemming, second by Justice Dennis. Mr. Allen, will you please call a roll?
Before we
Justice
go through
Lyons?
this, can we go ahead and get the staff's brief on it? That way, if we want to add conditions or something, we can do that before we go through 3 readings.
Director Ada?
Absolutely. Mr. Andy Lehman applied like back in January for this project. It was approved by the planning board unanimously on the 22nd of February. It's completely in the county. The property is approximately 3.4 acres. The project is located east side of the South Highway 59, about 0.1 mile from North Washington County 678. He is requesting to operate 125 by 80 feet like distribution warehouse for fishing rods, bait, jigs, heads, and apparel. It's going to be like a gravel like parking lot that accommodates about like 5 full-time employees. He mentioned like maybe if like the business like flourishes, he's going to possibly like add like about like 2 or 3 more. Hours of operation will be Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and will slightly be longer like during the weekends and like the fishing season. Mr. like Lehman, he called me today. He sent an email like yesterday, and he apologized for not being able to attend because he had like a pre-scheduled like family meeting, and he asked me like if he needs to send a representative, and I told him like I don't think like it's really like necessary. Like we can present you as like a team. We never had the only like comment we have is like from the neighbor like to the north, and she was like concerned about like the kind or type of lights he's going to be using, that it won't disturb her horses. And we told her like normally we use like the pointing down like shielded like lights that like he has to like follow like everyone else in the county. So other than that, we never had like any complaints. And as like JP Lemming mentioned, like he's moving his business from, he came and visited, he liked the area, he bought the property, he's moving his business from Missouri. We welcome that.
Thank you, Director Ada. With that, we have a motion on the floor to move to a second reading by Justice Lemming, a second by Justice Dennis. Mr. Allen, let's call the roll.
Justice Simons. Yay. Justice Lyons. Yay. Justice Ecke. Yay. Justice Dean. Yay. Justice Washington. Yay. Justice Koger. No. Justice Dennis. Yay. Justice Rios Stafford. Yay. Justice Lemming. Yay. Justice Pond. Yay. Justice Taylor. Yay. Justice Wilson. Yay.
Council, will you read that for a second time?
An ordinance ratifying a conditional use permit recommended for approval by the planning board for the Layman Fishing Bait Warehouse Project.
Justice Lemming?
Yeah, I'd like to suspend the rules and put it on the third and final reading.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and put it on the third and final reading by Justice Lemming, second by Justice Lyons. Mr. Allen, will you please call a roll?
Justice Simons. Yay. Justice Lyons. Yay. Justice Ecke. Yay. Justice Dean. Yay. Justice Washington. Yay. Justice Koger. No. Justice Dennis. Yay. Justice Rios Stafford. Yay. Justice Lemming. Yay. Justice Pond. Yay. Justice Taylor. Yay. Justice Wilson. Yay.
Council, will you read that for a third and final time?
An ordinance ratifying a conditional use permit recommended for approval by the planning board for the Layman Fishing Bait Warehouse Project.
Justice Lemming?
Make a motion that we pass it.
Motion to pass by Justice Lemming, second by Justice Dean. Any further discussion by the court? Any public comments on item number 17? Seeing none, we'll take up the question. I have a motion to pass item number 17 by Justice Lemming, second by Justice Dean. Mr. Allen, please call roll.
Justice Simons? Yay. Justice Lyons?
Yes, sir.
Yay. Justice Eckey? Yay. Justice Dean?
Yes, sir.
Yay. Justice Washington? Yay. Justice Koger? Yay. Justice Dennis? Yay. Justice Rios Stafford? Yay. Justice Lemming? Yay. Justice Pond? Yay. Justice Taylor? Yay. Justice Wilson? Yay.
Item number 17 passes. Item number 18, council, will you read that by title only?
An ordinance ratifying a conditional use permit recommended for approval by the planning board for the Sonora Oversized Storage Project.
Justice Lyons?
Can we get Director Addis' staff report, please?
Yes.
Director Ada?
Yes, sir. This CUP was approved by the planning board unanimously on the 22nd of February. The project is completely in the county and District 5. The applicant is requesting an CUP for like an oversized storage facility, primarily for like boats and commercial like vehicles on a 3.5 acres parcel. There will be 4 buildings in total. Building 1 will be about like 5,300 square feet. Building 2 will be about like 14,700 square feet. Building 3 will be about like same size. And building 4 is about like 9,000 square feet. They're going to be about like 4.3 feet deep dry detention pond with capacity of like 29,000 cubic feet. Will be located to the southern portion of that project. The pond will be controlled by like a storm box with orifices controlled. The facility would like be unmanned and available to customer to access 24/7 using a security pad. A security fence will be surrounded by a perimeter of the property. There will be lighting on the building, and signage of the building as well will be no larger than 6 by 6 feet. The property itself is 6.2 acres, and it's located on East Highway like 412, approximately 0.15 miles from Sonora Road. And the only concern that we had was like from the fire department, like the Nob Hill Fire Department, to have like sprinkler system, but they came to an agreement to build like a separation wall, like firewalls in between the buildings that would stand about like 2 hours of fire, and that was like matching what like the ordinance is, the state requirements asks for. And also like the property owner, like he purchased an access easement for the north property to be able like to go straight to 412 instead like of using Sonora Road. And the engineer on the project is here, like if you want, like if you have any further questions.
Justice Lyons?
Thank you, Judge. Neighbor comments based on the card?
We have not received anything about this project.
Nothing
the
from
neighbors.
anybody right
Nothing.
there?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Notice there's a lot of mature trees, vegetation in the front. Does he plan to keep that as screening?
I believe so, right, Glenn?
Where you can, okay.
Clint Carstetter with CK Civil Engineering. I was the engineer on the project. On the frontage where we can, there's some trees that are on the other side of the property line, which will remain, but where we're doing some grading to keep some storm flow behind the building, we will have to remove some of those.
Some of those, okay.
So there'll be a mix, yes.
Okay. Make a motion, we suspend the rules and move this to second reading.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and move to a second reading by Justice Lyons, second by Justice Taylor, sorry.
I had my microphone on.
Any other discussion? Justice Koger?
Yes, thank you, Judge. On this one, I will not object to moving it forward because I've talked to a representative of the neighbors out there, and they're actually happy that this is being used as it is instead of something else. So I have no objection to this one moving on tonight.
And this project also is going like to a large scale, and it was approved like preliminary, so they're moving forward with the project. Yep.
That's great, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Allen, will you please call a roll? This is to suspend the rules and move to a second reading.
Justice Simons. Yay. Justice Lyons. Yay. Justice Ecke. Yay. Justice Dean.
Yes, sir.
Yay. Justice Washington. Yay. Justice Koger. Yay. Justice Dennis. Yay. Justice Rio Stafford. Yay. Justice Lemming. Yay. Justice Pond. Yay. Justice Taylor. Yay. Justice Wilson. Yay.
Council, will you read that for a second time?
An ordinance ratifying a conditional use permit recommended for approval by the Planning Board for the Sonora Oversized Storage Project.
Justice Lyons?
Make a motion, we suspend the rules, move to the third and final reading.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and move it to the third and final reading by Justice Lyons, second by Justice Dean. Any discussion? Mr. Allen, will you please call a roll? This is to advance it to the third and final reading.
Justice Simons. Yay. Justice Lyons. Yay. Justice Ecke. Yay. Justice Dean.
Yes, sir.
Yay. Justice Washington. Yay. Justice Koger. Yay. Justice Dennis. Yay. Justice Rio Stafford. Yay. Justice Lemming. Yay. Justice Pond. Yay. Justice Taylor. Yay. Justice Wilson. Yay.
Council, will you read that for a third and final time?
An ordinance ratifying a conditional use permit recommended for approval by the Planning Board for the Sonora Oversized Storage Project.
Justice Lyons?
Thank you, Judge. I make a motion, we pass this ordinance.
I have a motion to pass item number 18 by Justice Lyons, a second by Justice Dean.
Any discussion from the board? So there was a motion passed. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Any further discussion by the court on this item? Any public comments on item number 18? Seeing none, we're going to take up the question. I have a motion to pass item number 18 by Justice Lyons, second by Justice Dean. Mr. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Justice Simons. Yay. Justice Lyons. Yay. Justice Ecke. Yay. Justice Dean. Yay. Justice Washington. Yay. Justice Koger. Yay. Justice Dennis. Yay. Justice Rio Stafford. Yay. Justice Lemming. Yay. Justice Pond. Yay. Justice Taylor. Yay. Justice Wilson. Yay.
Item number 18 passes. With that, we'll move into item number 19. We have a conditional use permit appeal. With that, Justice Lemming,
Can we take 5 minutes before we start?
without objection, we'll take a 5-minute recess. All right, I'm gonna give us a 1-minute warning. All right, we're gonna get back at it. Item number 19 is a CUP appeal. What we'll do is we'll hear the staff report first, followed by the applicant, and then we'll hear from any of the neighbors. So, Director Ada?
Yeah, the neighbors ask me like how long they're gonna be able like, to talk. So if there is a possibility of a reminder, how long for each person?
It works like public comments. They'll have 3 minutes per person.
Thank you. Mr. Allen, do you have this presentation up?
Justice Coger?
Maybe I misunderstood, Judge, but don't they have, if they have a representative, don't they have longer?
You can get 10 minutes if you have a representative.
Okay, I just wanna.
Yes, sir. First page. I'm gonna say next if you don't mind. So here we go. Kindness and motion conditional use permit appeal. The planning board approved the kindness and motion CUP on January 11th. 6 members voted yes in favor, and one of them was out of town. The property is located in the county. Next, please. The public filed an appeal on the 9th of February 2024. That was maybe like the last day of the appeal. That's why it did not go through the ratification process. The summary of the 8 appeal complaints I have here, and I'm not going to dwell long on these things because I'm pretty sure the neighbors are going to cover all of it. So the project is not compatible with the residential subdivision neighborhood. The project will lower the surrounding properties and house values. Safety from like delivery trucks, employees driving, and customers coming in and out. Health and environmental like safety concerns due to acclimation process by product, disposal and hazardous material being used. Approval sets like precedence for like business growth in the residential community. Next, please. This is like the location of the vicinity map. You can see like this, the location of the property on a corner, like in a subdivision. Next, please. And that's, if you zoom into the property, you can see the house and the office space to the north of it. Next, please. And those are like the neighbors, like they were like notified. And so the applicant is requesting a CUP to build like an office space on her property for a house called Veterinary like Services. The parcel is located within Whittington Woods Unit 7 subdivision. The subject project equals about 2.2 acres in size. While the business itself will provide routine vet services with a primary focus on end-of-life care, like palliation, hospice, anesthesia, euthanasia, and like the pet acclimation process, etc. The process, the proposed office is only intended to be the home base for like the home base, but like mostly the business is going to be the mobile like operation in and out. So the acclimation process was like known as alkaline hydrolysis or biocremation, uses a combination of mild water flow with temperature and alkaline like solution to accelerate the breakdown of organic material. The pet remains are dried and processed to return to the owner. There is currently no laws or legislation or regulations for alkaline hydrolysis or aquamation in the state of Arkansas. So it's mostly, it's cost efficient and like much easier on the environment than like burning the pet basically. So the business will be operated by like 4 employees, one of which is a part-timer. The hours of operation will be Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday, 9 to 3 p.m. Sunday is going to be off. There is an existing gravel driveway with 3 like parking spaces on the front of the office. The applicant was restricted to a maximum of 2.3 non-illuminated signage to be on the office building per planning board like voting. And to date, planning staff have received 7 comments in opposition, citing compatibility, increased traffic, property values, and health safety concerns. We have like lots of like health and sewer like septic condition. The applicant will reach an agreement with a company that can come and pump all like the liquid that's going to be the byproduct liquid that's going to be taken and used somewhere else, like in a different place in the state for fertilization purposes. And the ADA needed to be consulted if changes happens to that project in the future. Other than that, it's like standard like requirements. And we had like our planning conditions. The one highlighted in red is like strictly that like the applicant stay in compliance with ADH, Arkansas Department of Health, and the ADEQ. And the applicant already applied for the ADEQ permits. And to have the illuminated, non-illuminated, like tiny size, small like size, like sign on the building, and stay within like the requirements the applicant requested like hours of operation. Other than that is like just like the other standard like conditions. And I believe, I'm not sure, like I haven't seen Miss Sandy, but like if she's here, oh, Miss Sandy is here, like the applicant is here, she can answer like more further technical question if you have any.
Questions for staff? Justice Simons?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Director Ada, for that explanation. So, item number 6 up here, waste material, debris, pet remains, and all other byproducts and chemicals utilized by the veterinary practice shall comply with local and state regulations, yet there are no state.
Yeah, that's the idea. We had this condition just in case if the state reaches a condition, regulations, or like they instated like a law that she will be in compliance with that law just in the future. Yeah, okay. There is none right now, so like until like they have something.
Thank you.
Yep.
Additional questions for staff? Justice Coger?
Thank you, Judge. How is this compatible to the surrounding neighbors?
Well, it's a business like within a house. So like I believe like what happened, like she applied for an address to move that like building, and like we informed the applicant. It came to our attention when she did like the application for an address, and says like I need an address for a new office, and we said like, is there's going to be any business? And says like, yeah, the business is already going on. So we asked like to apply for a conditional use permit so we can move through the process.
So it doesn't sound like it's compatible.
Well, I mean, with our conditions, it's like it's high, like likely to be compatible. Like if she just like follow all the regulations.
So is this business already operating?
I believe so, yes, ma'am.
Are they already cremating animals there?
I believe so, yes. They have all the equipment, so I believe.
So how did they do that without the conditional use permit?
We never been informed. Nobody complained ahead of time. So we don't have inspectors to go in the county like to do inspections. So.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Justice Bond?
Just to clarify, they don't have a crematory there as well?
No, they're not burning. It's just like dissolving animal and alkaline and like collecting the byproducts and like giving back the bone products.
How many commercial businesses are there now in the Weddington Woods area?
In that area? It's
Yes.
it's a residential subdivisions. I don't believe there's any.
There was a stone place where they sold rocks out.
We never I'm not sure if we never processed any of those businesses. They might be there previously before the 2006 zoning. So
What generated the complaints?
it was not a complaint as much as the applicant came to ask for an address, and we informed her of the process. And then when we sent out the neighbor notification for that business to the neighbors, they complained to us and they applied for the appeal when it was approved.
But they'd already been doing business there.
I believe so, yes, sir.
So, okay,
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting you to repeat some things, but I just wanted to be clear that,
Yep.
and so until we got involved, nobody, it didn't seem like there was.
We haven't heard any complaints from the neighbors until we notified officially.
You didn't, we told them, and so then they were concerned.
Yeah, I
After
believe
they-
so. I believe they had concerns before, but it never came to our attention until this became a thing.
Thank you.
Justice Lyons?
Thank you. So I believe if I'm correct, Aquamation uses potassium hydroxide
Yes, sir.
in the process,
Yep.
which is a chemical, right?
Yep.
And it's identified as a hazardous chemical.
Well, it depends on the concentration. Miss Sandy might know more. It's the same chemical that's used in soap making, but I'm not familiar with the percentages. I've never seen the percentages for it. So I mean, anything that is not water is a chemical basically. So including milk. So she can always elaborate on technical stuff.
We'll have her when she comes up. But is there anything that needs to be applied by regulation or anything due to?
Well, the
using
only thing
potassium?
is the APA. We ask her the ADEQ just to be in compliance with them in case if there is any restrictions on hazardous material.
So that's what covers that one?
Yes,
Okay.
it should cover it. And she has a contract with a pumping company that will come and take all the material outside the area. Yep.
Thank you.
Justice Dean?
Thank you, Judge. Yes, Tim, this isn't where people are gonna be coming in and out. They're a mobile unit, correct?
They're mostly mobile, but they're doing all their operation, and they're accepting, as we mentioned, there is going to be a hospice, and she's also she's licensed to administer medication and euthanasia. So she has a cabinet that has all the medicine in, and she's going to be administering medication basically and take care. She's accepting customers, and that's why she has a spot for 3 parking spots in front of the office building.
Okay.
For business, yeah, for customers, walk-in customers.
And then, when they do their, tank, that all goes into a separate, septic system, correct?
It's not gonna be, it's not gonna be into the septic system or anything. It has to be contained, and it has to be pumped and moved somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, it could not, animal humane does not mix with, waste does not mix with human waste,
Okay.
according to the health department.
Okay, thank you.
Justice Coger?
Thank you, Judge. Okay, so maybe this would be a better question. If it is for the applicant, just tell me, how are the hazardous chemicals disposed of?
Ms. Sandy?
Well, I can wait till she comes
Yeah,
up. That's
yes.
okay. And never mind. That's good. Thank you.
Justice Taylor?
Thanks, Judge. 2 questions. Number 1, is this the same scenario as we just talked about with no POA in place, no?
Yeah, I don't think
Subdivision
I
restrictions.
don't think there is a covenants or POA, active POA for that specific part of the subdivision.
And would you go back to the map, please?
Absolutely.
I don't know which slide that was.
This one, that's the,
The satellite map? There you go.
Yeah,
So
I'm
how
sorry.
big is this lot now? It's like 2.2 acres,
it's
I think it said?
2.22, yes.
So this isn't like a quarter-acre subdivision like we would see in the middle of town?
Yes, it's a lot. It's a lot in a subdivision, so it's already a platted subdivision, so
Right.
it's not a big lot, no.
Okay. Second question, ADEQ disposal of hazardous material regulations would apply to anybody regardless of permit status?
Yes, including hazardous waste, like hazardous chemical usage and storage and all of that.
Yeah, so it would apply to you and your house, whether
Yes,
you're
sir.
doing something
Yes, sir.
commercial or not? Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Justice Leming?
Sam, do you have any idea when he popped up a question about the chemicals and hazard material, how many gallons or how many pounds or how much is required to keep records of?
No, we never asked, but like from my experience when I worked at the chemistry department at the U of A, there is always like a limit based on the use, and you have to have like a special like containers for it, and you have to have special like cabinets for it, hazardous cabinet like, and it has to be locked, so nobody will have access to it except the authorized people. And I'm assuming that's exactly what she has, especially like when she has medication as well on site.
So she has to keep a perfect record of how
Yes,
much she
yes,
uses,
she
how much
has
she
to.
has, and where
Yeah.
it is and where it goes. Thank you.
Yeah, and if we don't have as a condition, we can always add this too as a condition.
Any further questions for planning staff? Thank you, Director Ada. With that, we'll bring up the applicant.
Hello,
Welcome.
thank you. Would it be okay if I clarified a couple of things, kind of to
Abs-
start off?
Absolutely. This is your moment to tell us whatever you think they need to hear.
Okay. My name is Sandy Wood. I'm in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And there is a landscaper rock selling business at the entrance to our neighborhood. There is also an airfield in our neighborhood, and there is a rock quarry just outside, just down the road. I could walk to it. So I do feel like I am compatible with the neighborhood in that it is a very quiet process. I have 2 employees that drive to my home. They park there, they're in half of the spots. And then when an aquamation cycle is ran, it is a silent process. There is nothing that can be heard outside of the garage space that it is located within. We are very meticulous with chemical handling, employee safety. There is no hazardous disposal because at the end of the process, it is no longer a hazardous material. Okay, because of the pH levels and because the potassium hydroxide is destroyed during the process, it is no longer hazardous at that point. So what the ADEQ has advised as the appropriate course of action is that that liquid waste is pumped into the septic company that we use, and it is taken to a wastewater treatment facility. What other questions?
Justice Pond?
You have a concrete holding tank for the wastewater that is to be pumped.
The recommended material for the tanks is actually stainless steel. It is unable to be corroded in any way by the material pH levels and all of that. That is the recommended.
Approximately how many gallon tank do they recommend?
We have 2 connected holding tanks that are 550 gallons apiece, so a total of 1,100 gallons, which is easily fit within the septic tank pump truck.
Are these tanks above ground or are they buried?
They are above ground.
Okay. Thank you.
Justice Taylor?
Thank you, Judge. Something you said earlier prompted me to think about this. So Director Addis said that you were maybe operating beforehand, maybe not. No complaints had ever occurred to you directly from neighbors. Is
No,
that right?
sir. And in fact, in a previous meeting here, the neighbors had even said they had no idea that this was all happening until they received the letter.
Okay.
So I do apologize that we did not have the CUP in place before we started this business. I did attempt to do my research. Obviously, I didn't do a good enough job. I tried to get a business license from Fayetteville, and I even got a letter from a lawyer saying they can't give you one because you don't live in Fayetteville, and I was never pointed in this direction. So I do apologize for that. Kindness in Motion mobile vet services have been operating since October of 2018, and the Aquamation opened in October of 2020.
What you said, though, that caught my attention, you said it's a silent process.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any neighbors who have dogs that bark, I don't know, at 2 o'clock in the morning or anything like that you ever heard at your house?
No, not early or late. I have received a complaint that my dogs bark.
Okay.
But that complaint happened when we were not paying much attention to the time because we had a newborn.
Okay.
And so we let them out at not great times of the day. We have been more cognizant of that
But
since.
neighbor dogs bark.
Yes, I'm not really disturbed by any of our neighbors' dogs.
But your dogs that you're cremating don't bark.
That is correct.
Okay.
Our pets
Right,
in our care do not bark.
Okay. Or not cremating, aquamating. So, okay, so no noise disturbance from you, maybe to you, but not from you.
That's correct.
Okay.
And as far as clients visiting the premises, this is going to happen no more than 1 day per week, and it is going to be less than 5 per day, which I believe I put in my application. And really, if we have an office space, it would be nice if people can swing by to pick up a medication if they've been negligent and haven't ordered their pet's medication through our online pharmacy in a reasonable time to get it. I just don't want my patients to be in pain. So I would like to be able to get that to people if they need it to get by, but it's not going to be an ongoing, consistent basis. We still want people to order the medications and have them delivered from our online pharmacy. We don't want people to come to our office because we don't have a person that's going to man that office at all times. We are going to be out at appointments.
Speak a little bit, if you would, to, your thoughts. I mean, your proposed business use is a little bit out of the ordinary, right? But it's a needed service that folks need with their pets. If you would, speak to us a little bit about what you think the maybe public persona or the public, view of your industry is and how that's affecting how the whole thing is viewed versus if it was a more kind of run-of-the-mill type business.
If I may, could I read a Google review that we received today?
Please.
This review was given to us by Catherine Grossi. She says, our poor Boogie had 2 rare types of cancer and was dying at a very young age of 6, very suddenly. He was my therapy dog and more like a child to me. I couldn't thank the doctor and techs with kindness and motion for everything that they did for us. The customer service, the care, phenomenal. They made a very hard time a little easier. Their kindness was amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better experience for such a tough situation. I can't recommend them enough. Eternally grateful for them. Saying goodbye to Boogie was extremely difficult. It's taken me a few months to even write this review, but I don't think I would have been able to do it had it not been for this experience. I think that our reviews speak a lot about the care that we provide. We are one of the only mobile services in this area. I think there is only one other person doing in-home euthanasia at this time, and he does cats and small dogs only. A lot of our patients are large pets who are elderly and in pain and can't get into a vet clinic, and that's what we strive to provide good care for. Did that help answer your question?
I was more thinking, that was very helpful, but I was thinking like the thought of disposal of, corpses, for lack of a better term, of animals has a certain connotation in people's minds that maybe dissuades people from wanting to go along with your business. Would you say that's fair?
Oh, absolutely. This is definitely not the business for just anyone. It's actually very hard to hire for these positions.
I'm sure, yeah.
Not to, speak out of place, but I think it takes a special person to be handling these pets. And the fact that I know that my patients are being handled with the care and the gentle handling that we give them during life, I know that they are, and I can provide that reassurance to our clients. They deeply appreciate that. They know that that pet is going to stay with us for that entire process. Yes, it is off-putting. The thought that this is happening just down the street, maybe not a pleasant one, but at the same time, kind of going back, they didn't know it was happening for 4 years.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of external.
Until you told on yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to do the right thing.
Right.
I've always wanted to do the right thing.
Okay.
So,
Great. Thank you.
yeah.
Justice Lyons?
Thank you, Judge. Can you just address what we talked about before? You probably know the chemical better,
Yes.
I've even forgot about it.
The
Just can you
potassium
just address that
hydroxide.
just so we have an understanding, please?
Yes, we have potassium hydroxide on our premises. It is stored in the recommended plastic cabinet with lock on it. It can only be handled when employees are wearing the appropriate PPE. I can't say for the exact chemical composition. I believe it's a 66% potassium flake. I could be a little bit off on that percentage. But yes, it is not to be handled without appropriate PPE, just like you would with the small amounts during soap making. You would want to be careful with that.
Thank you. So if something should happen, a fire occur in that building or something like that, what's the reaction from potassium hydroxide?
Potassium hydroxide is not particularly flammable. It is only corrosive to skin when it is wet.
Okay. So it doesn't give off
No,
fumes or, okay.
no,
Thank you.
yes.
Justice Dean?
Thank you, Judge. Yeah, I just wanted to say on your behalf, I did come over and I talked with a girl that works with you, and we stood right outside there where everything's taken place. There was no sound. There was no smell. And frankly, I didn't really see a problem with it, so just wanted to let you know. Okay,
Thank you. The loudest thing that is happening in our garage is actually the dehumidifier we use to dry the bones.
Justice Lemming?
Yes, thank you. There's some of your neighbors that's probably got concerns that, you know, they don't know the process. And some of your neighbors has probably heard horror stories about some of the things, and they come around the corner and there's piles of animals and piles of bones. And this, can you kind of explain the step by step and how the ends and what you got left and the remains go on, and let the neighbors know that's a pretty clean process. It sounds terrible, but it's a pretty clean process. If they want to see some ugly processes, I can go show you a whole bunch around Washington County that's not pretty. But it sounds like to me it's a very, very good system.
Yes, sir, I can certainly go through that. So whenever we take a pet into our care, whether it be from a home pickup where a pet has passed away in their home and that client reaches out to us wanting them to come and get their pet, we bring them into our space. It's actually in a garage space. We have a walk-in cooler. These pets are not frozen while in our care. They are wrapped in blankets and kept in that walk-in cooler. When it is their time to go into the cycle, we use a machine from BioResponse Solutions called a PET 400, and it has stainless steel cradles that have stainless steel separators between each pet. So this is what is known as a semi-private aquamation. These pets, though, are very separated. The bones never intermix, okay? So these pets are placed into their individual sections within that cradle. There are 2 cradles that stack on top of each other, and then the chemical is added appropriately calculated to the weight of all the pets that are within that cycle. Once the chemical is added, the PET 400 is closed and sealed, and then you press start. The water comes in, and it gently rotates around the pets until the soft tissues are dissolved. Once that process, which takes about 18 hours, is completed, it is infused with carbon dioxide in order to manage the pH to acceptable levels. After that process is done, the water from the cycle is discharged into the stainless steel tanks, and this is by sealed piping, so there is no external mess with this. And then it alerts us that the cycle is complete. Once that happens, we open the machine, we rinse the bones with just some warm water, And then we remove each pet separately onto a tray into our drying dehumidifier cabinet. Okay. Once the bones are completely dry, which can take up to several days depending on the pet, those bones are taken and put into what is called in the funeral home industry as a cremulator. This is the same machine that is used on humans that are cremated. And essentially it is a drum with a couple of dull blades in the bottom which spin around and crush the bone into fine powder. Once we have this powder, we place that into an urn, and that is what is returned to the owner.
It sounds like a wonderful process, and it sounds like it's working really good. The sad thing about it is you told on yourself trying to get a permit, trying to do the right thing, and we're just gonna have to. And you're not on a little bitty lot. You've got a big lot, right?
It's 2¼ acres
Right.
approximately.
And I understand both sides of this, and there's a lot of businesses in Washington County that's going on that's, people don't have a clue that it's going on all across our county. And it's a tough situation, but I'm gonna vote for it because I think it's a good thing.
Thank you, sir.
Justice Rios Stafford?
Thank you, Judge. In the documents that we got with this appeal, some of the concerns from the neighbors that they wrote into these documents, I wanted to ask you about just so you can address them or answer questions about them. One of them was a concern about loud warning signals from delivery trucks that are backing up. How often do delivery trucks are at the property?
Well, some of those is definitely my personal Amazon purchases.
Okay.
But we have the septic company come about every 1 to 2 months to pump out those tanks.
Okay.
Other than that, with construction being completed, that's just about the only delivery we have. The chemical we actually pick up ourselves and transport according to regulations. So that's about the only consistent one that will be happening in the future to my current knowledge.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Justice Fleming?
One more question, sorry. How long have you owned the property? How long you've lived there?
We moved in January of 2017.
17, okay, thank you.
Justice Coate?
Thank you, Judge. So you're a licensed veterinarian,
Yes, ma'am.
and the people that work for you, are they licensed veterinarian techs?
No, I'm the only veterinarian on staff. The other 2 are my nurses. They are not licensed.
Okay. You mentioned something about a special septic tank. You didn't have to have some kind of permit from somewhere to connect that to a septic tank?
It is not connected to a septic tank. It is connected to steel storage tanks, which are above ground. The septic is only for my home. It is not connected in any way to my home septic.
Okay, I misunderstood then. Okay, when people come to retrieve their pets, how is it? I mean, like usually you get a little box and the bones are in a little box. Is that still how your process works?
Yes, so after we crush it into a fine powder with the cremulator, we have a variety of urns that we offer people, including a standard urn that comes with the process.
Okay, and then do you deliver those to the people, or people come pick them up there, or what?
Someone may pick it up if they live out of state, but we generally do home delivery.
Okay, thank you.
Justice Taylor?
Thank you, Judge. I forgot earlier to ask, you don't have to be like exact, but from an energy use perspective, like how much greener is this process, if you will, as far as not using electricity from the grid, fossil fuels, blah, 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 like all that stuff?
So we do use propane-powered water heaters for this process, but the water that we use is only 200 degrees versus a crematory needs to fire up to 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. So there's quite a bit difference as far as the fossil fuel usage and the emissions as well.
Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now we'll hear from any neighbors who want to speak for or against this. What we have here is a limit for 3 minutes per individual. If you're representing a group, you can have 10 minutes, and the total time is 30 minutes. Come forward, sir. Please state your name and where you're from for the record.
Thank you to the court. Appreciate you all very much. My name is Joe Mickey, and can you hear me from here? I gotta
Pull that
lean
up,
in.
but yeah, thank you.
I live at 15581 Quail Road, and I'm Sandy's neighbor. And this is kind of an awkward situation because we want to love and honor our neighbors very much. And, you know, they've been great neighbors. All of our neighbors are. But at the same time, this scenario, I'm representing several neighbors, so I'll take the 10 minutes if that's okay. And I would love to take any questions that you guys may have. But I was hesitant to bring this up, but I think it's important because on an evening, we decided to help Sandy and Jonathan unload their truck several years back, and when we did, we couldn't help but ask, what is this massive vat in your garage? It was so unusual. And they told us what it was, and they kindly and, you know, just asked us if we would not mention that to anyone. And so we didn't. And we haven't had any issues at all with the services they provide. That's not why we're here in opposition at all. We want them to thrive. We want them to provide for their families. And we want them to have a good business. But something changed, and that's where Sandy and Jonathan's business expansion, we feel, comes at great expense to us, our neighbors, and our neighborhood. That's what it is. It's a business expansion, and it comes with a cost to everyone around. And I appreciate that you all have made your choices, some vocally without hearing any opposition. But I think it's worth hearing. You know, as we saw their office building installed, their parking lot filled in, and employees started arriving, then we received notice in the mail of the expansion. We're extremely busy. I've got 6 kids, a full-time job. I don't even have time to do this tonight. But I'm doing it because we need to have a voice, at least, of what's being asked. As you saw in that picture above, we live in a beautiful neighborhood. Homes. That's all they are, homes. We have families riding bikes. We have people walking dogs. We have just being outside, playing, throwing Frisbee. We all have 1, 2, 3, 5 acre lots. And most neighbors know each other. It's beautiful. I sent in a video of the neighborhood to give some context. I think the image above says it quite well. We're not a commercial real estate or commercial area. We're not a place to have signs. We're not a place to have security lights and all that. But let me move on here. It's quiet, beautiful, and safe. And that's important to us. We've invested our lives and our finances in this neighborhood for our children and for our families. Sandy's mobile service has not had much effect on our lives. And neither does my job have an effect on theirs until now. We now have a large office right near the road. Their neighbors are 40 feet across the street directly. We're just right next to them. The security lights, signage going in, employees shipping and receiving, pump trucks, and we'll soon have clients. This is a huge difference than Sandy bringing euthanized animals to her home and dissolving them with the aquamation process. That's different. You're bringing in and taking care of. You're bringing in and taking care of those animals, and it is quiet. That hasn't been an issue whatsoever. It's a huge difference that when we take it to the next level, this business expansion comes at great expense to all of our neighbors. Sandy and Jonathan are in business to build business. They're going to feel the pressures of meeting payroll, paying bills, spending money to make money and provide for their family. That's a big deal. When you have a business, you've got to make payroll. You have to be thinking about additional revenue streams. What are we going to do with this property? They move forward without permission and have invested several $1,000s to put this parking lot in and put this building in. That's what bothers me so bad, to be in opposition to it, because they have an investment. To decline that, declines that investment to a degree, and that's painful. I want them to thrive. However, we invested here for our families. We have invested for the future. And the reality is we have a family right across next door that's trying to sell their home right now. If we want to move up, or neighbors want to move up, and they get a raise and they want to sell, they're going to look and get excited about what are their options. They're going to look at what their home is worth on Zillow, and then they're going to have people come out and visit, and they're not going to be able to get the cost that they want, the price that they want, and they need that $10,000 to $20,000 to get their mortgage payment down enough to level up their home. There's a lot at stake here. They have continued expanding, or they have to continue expanding, or they'll fail. If you're not building your business is failing. What does that mean for us? More shipping and receiving, more employees, more pump trucks, more aquamation. The question is how much do you need that tank running for you every single month to make ends meet? You know, is it 12 animals per month? Is it 20? Is it 30? What will happen when they go to 3 aquamation chambers? Or what is the rest of the property for? If we have this precedent set and they're operating outside of permission anyway, the question is what will they do with the rest of the property as a veterinarian? What would be the most logical thing to do? At what expense to those around? We already have increased traffic. We're bringing people into the neighborhood that wouldn't likely come here to visit family or visit friends. They're coming for a service. We have our garage doors open. This isn't regular traffic. This is a neighborhood. They have to make decisions on the fly, quickly. When you have payroll to meet, when you have bills to pay, and you need to shift your business, you do it quickly. You need to be nimble. That's important. They need to be nimble. The question is for us is, what could be next? We're concerned about expansion. The security aspect of it is a consideration for us. Traffic, I already mentioned. Like I said, we have our garage doors open. People come in, they see what you got, they go out, and they're curious. The other thing is, when you have a veterinarian's type of service there, that is a key focal point of drug users. It's no secret that drug users are enticed by pharmaceutical drugs. Here we have a building with a security pole and a security light, all these type of things, and you know, who knows? These are just things that neighbors consider. I'm not trying to put it way, way out there on the fringe as a possibility, but what type of intention are we drawing into? Our neighborhood is unique. It's big. It's really actually cool that we have a private airstrip in our neighborhood. It's a grass strip. We go down there and watch the planes take off and land. It's really cool. They're all ultralight aircraft. They're all hobbyists. That's neat. We're not excited that that Don Johnson's construction has his rocks out front of our neighborhood where you would see a sign. That's not attractive to us. It's not pretty, and we wish it wasn't there. But I know Don Johnson, and it's okay. You know, he grandfathered that into the neighborhood. The other thing I just wanted to mention is the potassium hydroxide. When we did our research, and I understand, it's like lye when you make soap. My wife makes soap, and it can burn the crap out of you. Pardon my language, I'm sorry about that. What we found at the CDC is non-combustible solid, however, may react with H2O and other substances and generate sufficient heat to ignite combustible materials. Acid, water, metals, halogenated hydrocarbons, metallic, whatever, it says heat is generated if KOH comes in contact with H2O or CO2 from the air. The exposure issues are inhalation, ingestion, skin, or eye contact. The symptoms can be irritation, eye, skin, respiratory system, cough, sneezing, skin burns, vomiting, diarrhea. Those are just things. Now, I understand what Sandy has said. The investment part of this is important to us. We believe it brings significant risk to our investment in our homes. We see what you guys don't see. And you can talk it down all you want, but whoever came out to visit the house did not come by and talk to the neighbors. I mean, we haven't voiced that. It's not something that when you have your neighborhood, if all of you all are sitting right here listening to somebody who's receiving client traffic, pump trucks, shipping and receiving, and your employees right next door all of a sudden, we were shocked when we got the piece of mail. We had to stop everything we were doing and try to figure out a plan because we've never even dealt with this before.
Your time has expired, sir.
Okay.
So
Are there any questions at all?
I'd like to see if other people want to make some comments and make sure they have the opportunity to do that. Are there others wanting to speak on this
Should
issue
I
this
step
evening?
down?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hold up for just a second. Justice Coger, did you have comments or questions for this gentleman?
I was gonna make a motion to extend his time by 5 minutes, just because, I didn't think that if no one else was gonna speak, I wanted to make a motion to extend it for 5 minutes. That's a motion,
That's the current
yes.
motion right now?
Yes, sir, thank you.
I have a motion to extend his time for 5 minutes. Motion by Justice Coger,
Second.
second by Justice Washington. All those in favor?
Sure.
Aye.
Those opposed? Mr. Allen, will you call a roll for us, sir?
Justice Lyons. Yes, sir. Yay. Justice Dean. Yes, sir. Yay. Justice Washington. Yes. Yay. Justice Coger. Yes. Yay. Justice Dennis. No. No. Justice Rio Stafford.
Yay.
Yay. Justice Lemming.
Yes.
Yay. Justice Pond. Yay. Yay. Justice Taylor. Yes. Yay. Justice Wilson. Yes. Yay.
Passes. You can continue. Are you ready for questions, or do you have more presentation?
Well, I just wanted to say one more thing. Regardless of the decision this evening, I just wanted to say again, although I feel a little impassioned about it, I just want to, for our neighbors to know that we love them and we want to continue to be good neighbors no matter what. But we just wanted to voice our concerns. I'll take any questions, please.
Justice Lemming?
Joe, how long have you lived in the neighborhood?
12 years.
12 years. And are you sure there's not any more businesses being operated in your neighborhood?
I bet there are.
Do you
I don't know
know
of any that have employees coming and going.
how many dump trucks does a man on the hill own that he's got 7 or 8 or 10 that goes in and out of there every day, and he's got his own mechanic shop up the hill bouncing down the road 40 and 50 mile an hour?
I know of the one on Cardinal, and he's a friend of mine. He only has one truck.
Well, that we're not talking about, I don't want to use his name, but he's got about 7 or 8 trucks right up on the top of the hill, right above the airport.
Yeah, I don't know of
I've
him.
towed home for him. So there is other businesses going on in that neighborhood, correct?
If you say so, yeah. I don't know of
You
that
live
guy.
out there, you ought to know.
I've never seen the 10 trucks, and I've run that whole loop over and over again until the dogs almost ate me.
Yeah, and there's other things happening in the neighborhood, and this is a very tough deal. And
Yeah, I mean, we've been dealing with
when you-
Terminella and everything. You know, the light talk about the dump trucks and all that stuff around the neighborhood. I mean, we feel like we have been completely underhanded or done wrong by all the permissions given to Terminella to build those mines. We don't necessarily want them. We want people to have jobs. We want people to have dirt running in and out. But there's better places to do it rather than right next door to our neighborhoods.
Well, yeah, you say that, but you can only get red dirt in certain areas. You can't get red dirt just anywhere.
Oh, I
And
didn't know
This
that.
Quorum Court did not give him rights to do all that.
Well, I don't want to blame anybody, but I
Well,
mean, I just
you-
feel
you
like we
did,
haven't
but we
had
didn't.
adequate representation in that because we just feel like, anyway, I'm sorry to go down that rabbit trail.
Well,
It's a hard situation for us that have
It's for
invested
all
out
of
there.
us.
Yeah.
It's not
But
easy
if
for
there's-
any of us, but
Yeah.
until the CUP process changes and the zoning changes, a lot of our hands are tied. And neighbors across Washington County's growing leaps and bounds.
Yeah, it's huge.
And it's sad to say that the residential areas, the cities are moving out into the county. They're moving towards you. They're moving out. And it's pushing all this on all of us to make just hard decisions. And it's hard to have a good, loving neighbor, caring neighbor that's done no wrong to nobody and is doing a good deed and nobody knows about it. Then she's trying to do right. And it's sad that
Yeah.
it has to get this deep and
I
make
would,
everybody.
I would say to that, I think there are other opportunities there. It's hard to raise up enough money to have a place to purchase or rent to do business that you typically would do in a
Commercial area.
In a commercial area. That's what we recommend.
Well, yeah.
This type of traffic and this type of site with signage and all that belongs in a commercial area. This is not that. It just isn't. If you drove down our neighborhood street today, you would see a very nice, quiet, wonderful place. And while this is a nice, quiet, wonderful service, our neighborhood is not a place for this kind of traffic, this type of attention, security lights, and all that comes with it. That's just not the case. And if there are things going on, I don't know of any business out there that's receiving clientele. It just is what it is. I respect your opinion totally, but I think it's perfectly valid to stand against any of that unwanted flow. Let the flows come, but let's keep it within the boundaries and the rights of the people, because we have a majority. That's what I find striking. I'm wondering what the matrix is that you all base a decision on, because I was flabbergasted that the planning committee said, sure, and put up a sign, but keep it this size. And I was thinking, we have all these people in opposition to this, not by any ill will to any one family. We want them to be able to provide and build and grow, but veterinarian clinics all have a building somewhere. We have rural veterinarian clinics that we know and love in Oklahoma. They all have a place. They're not in somebody's neighborhood. It's not the apples to apples by any means, but, you know, I'm sure I'm losing my time, but I felt like when I heard the planning committee, I couldn't go because I had to go to a funeral. But I was shocked. And it felt like we didn't have any representation. And that's why I started to come and try to find Mr. Lester, because I was wondering, how does this work? What is the matrix that you all are making your decisions on? Because it felt like it was just a whim and a emotion. And that was the planning committee. I thought this was the same thing. And then when I realized this is like the court, I thought, oh, thank goodness we have advocates of some kind. But we've invested our whole lives. We don't have much money. This is it. And I want it to be good for our family. But when the neighbors level up in their career and get a raise and want to go buy a house, like I said earlier, and they can't sell their home, or they're going to take a huge cut when the house they're looking at, based on their income, they could get otherwise, they're going to be hurting, going, I need this price to be this if we want to expand the square footage to here, but I can't get it because there's a full-fledged business working right across the street. I just can't help but bring that to the table. And again, if you guys decide for it, I'll be your friends, and I will still love my neighbors like crazy. But I have to be opposed to it, along with all my neighbors, many of which couldn't be here tonight. I think that's probably 5, I would think.
Yeah,
sorry.
I would think we want to address some other questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. And do I need to
Justice
sit down?
Rios Stafford?
Thank you, Judge. In fairness, I'll ask you the same question that I asked to the applicant. In your recent experience, since the construction has ended, how often, in your experience, are you hearing backup signals from delivery trucks or pump trucks coming?
I really don't know. I mean, I'm at work all day, every day. My wife's a homeschool mom, and she's there all day. I don't think it's too terrible much as far as all those things. But again, I would say my concern is about business growth. What does that look like in 3 years, 3 months? What does that look like in 5 years? What are we really saying yes to? and we can't know that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Justice Taylor?
Thanks, Judge. How long did you say you lived there?
12 years. 12 years.
So I take issue with something you just said, and you confirmed it later on. First, you said, I didn't know what to do when you saw the CUP application and you had to scramble around to figure it out. You said that, right?
I did.
So
Yeah. And I meant
then then you turned around and started talking about something that Counselor Lester and I are intimately familiar with. It tells me you're lying. That is the Terminella case that you dropped a couple times. So what was your involvement in that lawsuit?
In the Terminella case?
Yeah, that one.
Well, my involvement was I was kind of a participant. Now, may I ask you a question? What are you saying that I'm lying about?
You said you've never seen the CUP process before. You had to scramble around to figure it out, but you've also filed a lawsuit for that very thing, right? As an appeal.
Well, I have not filed a lawsuit on anything.
But
This is
you
my
were a
first time with
participant
a...
in that lawsuit against Terminella, yes or no? You just said you were.
Well, sir, I went to a meeting to be a part of the opposition,
Okay.
but I've never been a part of the whole process of being in court
Okay.
or anything. But to that point, I brought that up because I feel like we were underrepresented in that, and it's something that really directly, I'm sorry, it's very hard to do this, and it really affects our lifestyle and our livelihood.
Right.
Is quite impactful. But as far as a cut process, I never received a note from anybody before in any regards. There was no one of those red signs that goes up that says, hey, there's something going to change in your property and we're going to have a hearing about it. I never saw that. But what I'm saying is when I got my letter in the mail, I think it was like on a Wednesday night or Thursday night, and we had 2 weeks to somehow put together a plan that I've never done something like this before. So the only thing I could think of was make copies of the letters, go out to my neighbors and say, guys, you know this is happening. And so we all got together at our house and said, here's what's happening. Is anybody for or against this? And those that came over, we were against it.
So you said something about the majority and what the matrix is for making a decision.
Yes, sir. I was curious about that.
So what's your position on that? Like if it's 51-49, then it's a yes or no, depending on what's the majority or what?
Well, the only thing, I'm going on an assumption here. If you all are voting this evening.
No, I'm talking about in the neighborhood. You were implying that the neighbors for or against mattered. That's what?
Well, we went to several neighbors. I mean, we've never gone to our neighbors before with a situation like this before, and some of them said, you know, I'm just indifferent. I said, okay. And then we went to others to see if there was a concern, and they would say yay or nay. And so those of us that wanted to pursue and meet together, we got together in our home, which is kind of cool because we had not done that before. And we laid it out. And the first thing that we talked about were the livelihood of Sandy and Jonathan. That really matters to us. They have a little kid. They need to provide for their family. That's number one.
So you guys do not have a POA in place right now, is that right?
This is something I'm really shaky on.
Do you
I
pay
don't know
dues?
I don't think we have a POA. And I think there might have been one day. I don't know that stuff. But yeah, and that's one of the, that is one of the great things about where we live, because we really didn't want to live in a neighborhood that was just box, and the regulations of POA and things like that. So we do and love being able to have that freedom. And I get that. They enjoy that freedom too.
Right. So you don't pay POA dues every year that you know of?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Justice Dennis?
Thank you, Judge. Do we have discussion time after this?
Yes, sir.
Then I'll wait and have my I want to discuss it, but it's not a question as such. I can form it in a question, but I just discuss it rather than.
Okay.
And may I say one more thing?
Yep.
I just wanted to mention that to everybody here, I have a huge amount of respect to you all. I mean, I don't want anybody thinking that I'm lying to you. I don't believe that I have, but I do respect your opinion in thinking that I have. So I just want to make sure that was said.
Thank you, sir.
Should I step down now?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to item number 20, which is the discussion by the Quorum Court. And then as you guys know, Item number 21, we have 2 ordinances drafted for you guys when you're ready to move to that point to decide which one you want to move to. Justice Dennis?
Thank you, Judge. Great discussion and a lot of things. I believe in property rights, and so I'll say that up front about myself. If the business was there first and the community built around, it would be different. But the houses were the homes in the neighborhood was there, and then the business came in. So if the business had been there first, I'd be all for the business being able to remain there. But since the business came in after, I think that does change the neighborhood. And I know that I would just recommend, of course, my recommendation is not that great, but at the same time, I think you could move out of the neighborhood with your business and put it in a high-traffic area and then advertised in Northwest Arkansas, and you wouldn't be able to keep up with your business because you'd have so much. I think that by being in a neighborhood, you're actually hiding yourself. And so I would encourage you to move out into a more prominent business location. I don't think it'll hurt you. I think it would help you. And so with that said, that's the reason that I will vote no on this one. And it's because I think what came first, the chicken or the egg, and what came first was the neighborhood of Weddington Woods. I mean, I can remember when it went in. I'm glad I've still got that good a memory, but at my age. But at the same time, I'll be voting against this because I think the neighborhood was there first, and the business moved in. And so that's my comments. Thank you.
Justice Dean?
Thank you, Judge. I guess the thing I look at is the business was there for 6 years and nobody knew it. Nobody right there around them even knew it. They didn't know until they applied for a cup. I want to know what's changed, the people that lived there, what makes the big difference now when they didn't know it for 6 years and it was happening. So, I'm sorry?
Justice Coger has a question for you. Will you accept the question?
Isn't this about an expansion? Didn't they expand?
It's, I went and looked at the place, and it really is no different than a small home. You know how tiny houses? That's what it looks like, a tiny house.
So it's not an expansion?
They're making it an office is all it is. Just a little outbuilding, got a few parking spaces, and from what I gather, I was told that the girls, they built it so the girls that are working there would have a place to congregate. They'll keep their office stuff out there, but that's basically all it is.
Thank you.
No, sir. Justice Lemming?
I was just going to mention that what I see from the folks when they're talking is it expanded to the tiny house. What's next? Are they going to build a building on the whole 2 acres? I mean, I can understand them being kind of scared of what's going to happen. I mean, if you could put something to say, that's as big as you can get, you can't change, I could understand that too. But I can understand both sides of it, but that's their worry. And I think it's a good worry because when you open the gate, it could flood.
Justice Coger?
Oh, thank you, Judge. Okay, Attorney Lester, while I'm speaking, could you be looking up the regulations, the items that we're supposed to consider when we vote on whether or not we approve a CUP? Like there's 7 or 8 things like compatibility, access. But for now, I'd like to say that this is an industrial process in a residential neighborhood. It should be in a commercial area. There's no state regulations. There's no way to enforce proceedings and the process going forward. Sort of like what Justice Lemming said now, what's it going to be like going down the road? And I think that this is very harmful to property values in the area. But I usually have those regulations with me, those items, but Attorney Lester, if you could just read those for us, please, to refresh my memory. I tried to pull them up online and it wouldn't come.
I don't have those. I would have to go into my computer upstairs. I don't even have my laptop down here to get into the system, so I'd have to go pull that off the ordinance. It's Ordinance 2006-66. So I apologize, I don't have those to give to you right now.
Does the planning board have them? Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, thank you.
Are you done, Justice Coker, or
Oh, I was just waiting to see if the planning board had those rules.
maybe he's gonna look for them. Maybe we'll go ahead and we'll
Oh,
come back.
I'm done. I just wanted to hear them
If
again.
Director Ada has success there, we'll pull him up. Justice Taylor?
Thank you, Judge. To Justice Lemming's point, the future expansion is a concern, I'm sure, for everybody. That's not the question before us tonight. The question before us tonight is this a yes or no on the already approved by the Planning Commission permit? Not, if they go to expand 2 more times, is that our problem? So that's not today's decision. Number 2, I'm not in favor of making further belaboring the points that we all have not had to be reminded of over and over again of what the analysis is on approving or not approving a CUP. And I would caution that this is purely a litigation tactic. So take that for what it's worth, and that's my stance.
Counselor Lester?
Okay, I have these. The criteria that you have to consider is A, if that a written application has been filed with the planning office and the appropriate fee has been paid. B, that each property owner has been notified by return receipt mail. C, that adequate utilities, roads, drainage, and other public services are available and adequate or will be made available and adequate if the use is granted. D, that the proposed use is compatible with the surrounding area. E, that the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the conditional use will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare. F, that the conditional use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the surrounding area for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish and impair property values within the surrounding area. And G, that the establishment of the conditional use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding area for the uses permitted in the zone.
Justice Rios Stafford?
Thank you, Judge. This is for probably a question for Mr. Otta as well, and it is in regard to the future expansion. If there were to be future expansion, will they have to come back and get a different or a new CUP for that, or amend the CUP, or is future expansion allowed under this
Dave,
CUP?
Do you have the presentation on? Yeah, this is one of the conditions, basically. Any expansion, any changes on the use or expansion on the footprint of what's being approved, it needs to come before the planning board and the office, so we can approve it. And anything that is gonna go beyond like the 1 acre, like 1 acre or beyond, has to be like a large scale. And that's one of the things that we discussed with the applicant.
Okay, great. So future expansion, this does not cover future expansion, they'll have to come back.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Justice Pond?
Most of my concerns that I was gonna go to have been addressed by the last 2 JPs, but there was one thing that, and I believe actually the developer's the one that brought it up. Well, maybe she didn't bring it up, but there was discussion about these chemicals that they use. And what came to mind is, and I don't know how many swimming pools are in the Weddington Woods area, but we have swimming pools all over northwest Arkansas. And the chemicals that are used in our swimming pools, in the concentrated form that we use to apply to prevent the green slime and stuff and mold, you know, the ugly red mold or whatever can develop in a swimming pool. They're all, you basically got the same issue as you would with the chemicals that they're using in this process. If you just splash a little bit of that stuff on you, you're gonna have a nasty burn. Actually, I've used some of those to treat the swimming pool. I don't have what we call a space suit that I wear, but it'll mess up a good pair of jeans, and you'll have some burns and stuff on you, but we don't have the same kind of protest when somebody wants to build a swimming pool. There may be neighborhoods that would have. I don't know, but apparently they don't have any kind of neighborhood association in this neighborhood, or the people who lived there would have known about it. They could have said, yes, we have that. And I don't believe they have it here. And I'll bring up again, I'm glad that it was brought up that this facility would not be able to expand without coming before the planning board and this body again. And at that time, you know, you'd be thinking that the business owner would say, well, hey, I live down here. I don't want to live next door to some kind of commercial business bigger than this. And they would be looking for property out on the main road that would be more appropriate for a big business. I can understand why, you know, if somebody just wanted to stay small and make a living for themselves and 2 or 3 employees, that this would be a peaceful, a quiet setting that they could have a quality of life and enjoyment while they're at work. And I'll say it again, this is a good reason why, it's a good reason why businesses need to come back before the court if they intend to expand. If they intend to get outside their footprint that's in this conditional use permit, they'd have to come before us. And so and I fully understand the concern. People don't want their quiet little neighborhood to become something more commercial. I really didn't hear anybody concerned about the permit that's being requested for this CUP this evening. It's what's going to happen in the future. What is going to happen in the future? I don't know what's going to happen in the future, and I'm glad I don't know. I probably couldn't handle it, but we can't make decisions on what might happen. I mean, it kind of reminds me of the old fellow that said he'd fretted over things that he thought might happen, you know, many times in his life, and then 99% of them never did happen. So I'm going to be for this conditional use permit as it is. I'm probably not going to be for a conditional use permit farther down the road where they decide to double or triple this business and disrupt a neighborhood. Thank you.
Justice Coger?
Thank you, Judge. I just want to say there's a big difference between swimming pool chemicals and what we're talking about here. You can't buy potassium chloride at Walmart. You can buy swimming pool materials at Walmart. And another thing, Judge, is it seems like we keep hearing a lot about how, well, the business, it's been there for 6 years. And how many times do we have CUPs come before us asking us to approve them because they're already there? That seems to defeat the purpose of us even doing that. And I don't know how you move into a neighborhood and start putting something like that into your garage without knowing that you'd need some kind of permit or something for that. I will be voting against this. Thank you.
Justice Lyons? Well, with that, we'll end the discussion, and we're at the item number 21. Justice Dean, you have a pleasure of what ordinance you'd like to move forward with at this time? Approval or denial?
I think that
Just
we move forward.
Let's get the, sorry. There you go, sir.
Okay, Judge. I think we should move forward to approve it.
That is drafted in ordinance, item number 23-0-0300A. Counselor, will you read that item for the first time?
An ordinance ratifying a conditional use permit recommended for approval by the Planning Board of Adjustments for the Kindness in Motion project.
Absent further motions, that ordinance will stay on its first reading.
Okay, I move that we move it on to the second reading.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and move item number 23-0-030A to a second reading. Motion by Justice Dean, second by Justice Taylor. Mr. Allen, will you please call roll on that?
Justice Lyons.
Yes, sir.
Justice Dean.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Justice Washington.
No.
No. Justice Koger. No. Justice Dennis. No. Justice Rio Stafford. Yes. Justice Lemming. Yes. Justice Pond. Yes. Justice Taylor. Yes. Justice Wilson. Yes.
That will move to a second reading at next month's Quorum Court meeting. The final item on our agenda is the committee reports. We had a combined County Services and Finance and Budget Committee. The report is in your packet, and with that, we'll be adjourned.
Good enough. Twist my arm.